Huntsville's night has not always been calm, but tonight was something else. The streets were cough, but heat on social media. Martell Holt's fresh live shook the whole city. There was only one thing everywhere. Martell finally spoke. People were screaming, laughing, commenting. For some, it was another drama, but for some, it was the truth they had been looking for years. At that moment, in a quiet room in Huntsville, Arionne was sitting, his phone in front and the same live video on the screen that changed his world. Martell's voice was still echoing in his mind. Every word, every phrase is reopening a wound. He had a trembling in his hands. He tried to wipe tears, but interesting. The burden of the heart was flowing through the eyes. Martell was always a man who believed in his words. On the day he separated from Mildy, a fire was burning inside him. He understood that the world misunderstood it, that the media and the fans only looked at one side. Today it was time to turn, and Martell did the same. He did not tell the truth, but surprised everyone by sharing words. All this was personal for Arionne. She was not just a role. She was the chapter of Martell's story that the world never read completely. For years, she has been under the burden of accusations, home breaking, shadowy woman, other woman, but no one ever asked what she feels herself. That night, when he saw Martell speaking against Mildy on live, there was a strange stir inside him. He felt as if Martell was still imprisoned in his past. As if he was not telling the truth, he was taking revenge. At that moment, I just had an idea in Erwin's heart. How long? How long will we all continue to injure each other just to prove our truth? It was 3 o'clock in the night. Comments on the phone were not stopped. Someone wrote, Mildy was right. Someone said, Arionne found all but not comfort. And some people wrote, Martell will have to pay the price to speak the truth. But whatever people were saying was all the noise that could not hide the silence inside. Arionne took a deep breath. He looked at himself in the mirror. His face was swollen, dark circles around the eyes, such as sleep, disappeared for several days. He said to himself, just now. But the word was only in the language. The heart was not ready yet. She wanted everyone to end, but the story was not ending. The next day, when the sun came out, every media was circulating Arionne's video on the platform. The video in which she was broken. Some people said this is a tactic to gain sympathy. Some said it was a moment of humanity. But whatever said, the fact was that at that moment, he had exposed his heart in front of the world. Mildy had not yet responded. She knew that silence was occasionally the most powerful answer. She was a mother, a woman, and a brand. He knew that every word he would speak would turn into some title. She decided that she would not speak this time. She will only show the process. Meanwhile, the situation for Martell was changing. Some of its business agreements were suspended. The brands took distance from it. He thought that speaking the truth would praise him, but the wind was upside down. In social media comments, sympathy was now going to Arionne. The woman whom people used to criticize till yesterday were writing for her today. We are with you. For the first time, Arionne decided to keep himself silent. She no longer wanted to prove herself right. He wrote a long post in which he said, I told my story. Now I just want peace. That post went viral. And then, strangely, the silence was over. Mildy attended a ceremony in Atlanta this week. She was shining in front of the cameras. The same smile, the same confidence. But there was a fatigue somewhere in her eyes. As if she knew that the war had not yet ended. A reporter asked, would you like to say something on Martell's live? He gave a light smile and said, I'm just focusing on my life. All the rest is history. The phrase was in the headlines the next day. Mildy Shari, all the rest is history. Martell also saw this headline. He made a slight sarcastic laugh, but something broke inside. He knew that Mildy's comfort was more powerful than his own anxiety. The people of Huntsville were talking that this story is probably near its end, but the truth was that it was just a new turn. Because now a new character was coming in this story, someone that would change the lives of these three forever. There was a message on Erwin's phone. I have something to say to you. It's about Mildy. The sender's name was not Martell. It was someone else, someone who knew the truth but was still silent. Iron's heartbeat intensified. She knew whatever was coming, she would prove to be a new explosion not only for the three, but for the whole show. The night came again. Silence, darkness, and waiting. They all seemed to be the forerunner of a new storm. The silent atmosphere of Huntsville began to change once again. It seemed as if the city itself was waiting for a new explosion. Iron's post had gone viral, but now she was missing from social media. It has been 3 days. No video, no statement, no photo. The woman who used to share her thoughts every day was now completely silent. But this silence was not empty. It was a pre-stormy silence. Meanwhile, a call came on Martell's phone. The number was ignorant, but the sound was known. "We have to meet. The matter is not iron, but melee." Martell caught the phone with shock. "Who are you?" Laughing on the other side. "Someone who wants to show you the truth." The call is over, but the storm of questions came to Martell's mind. Medi was in Atlanta at that time. She was busy with her new business team. Success was shining on his face, but there was an emptiness inside. Occasionally she would stop, take a deep breath as if a memory had stopped her. She was a memory of Martell. No matter how strong she tries to become, some things do not erase. At night, when she was alone in her hotel room, she opened the phone. Instagram notifications checked, then stopped. A new account, no name, just one message. "You know that everything is not gone. The truth is hidden and the time has come to bring it out." Melody turned off the phone. She knew this is not an ordinary person. On the other hand, Ian also received a message. The same words, the same accent. "You know, you are not alone. Some people know what you don't know." Iron looked at the phone with surprise. Was this coincidence? Or was someone playing a game? The next morning, a single video was sent on the 3 phone. The video was only 25 seconds. An old room, a secret recording, and voice. She was saying to someone, "This thing goes out, everything will be over. Show, brand, all." Then the voice of a man was heard, "Martell. So do you want me to be silent?" The video is over. This video was true or false. No one knew. But he shook the life of the 3. A new fear began to arise inside the Iron. What if this video reached the public? The same people who were sympathizing with him today will call him a liar tomorrow. He called Martell, but he did not pick the phone. He knew that the matter was no longer personal. Now it was going to become a media war. The media reported the next day. The secret video leak of Medi and Martell. What's the truth? Thousands of posts on social media, dozens of videos on YouTube, and the same question everywhere. Who has the truth? Medi immediately called his legal team. "This video has been edited. I will never say such a thing." But the internet doesn't matter. The truth does not go there. There goes viral. Iron broke the silence. He posted a long video. "I'm not part of this video. But if all this is true, then the time has come for everyone to come out." This video put oil into the fire. Now the 3 were fighting for their own fear, not each other. Martell met his old friend Marceau one night. "Brother, this is not your bus. Brother, this is not your bus. Brother, the more you speak, the more you sink," Marceau said. Martell hit the table. "I didn't do anything wrong. They made me a villain. Now I will not let them be a hero." You know, the enemy is not always out. Sometimes he is in the mirror. At that moment, a journalist, Sasha Jones, arrived in Huntsville. She worked for the OWN network and was told that there was something hidden behind that no one has ever seen. She came to seek the truth, but she did not realize that she was about to be part of a game. Sasha first contacted Iron. "Want to hear your story, your truth?" Iron refused first, but then said, "If I speak, promise my truth will not distort my truth." Sasha promised. The promise that will later change his career. Preparation for the interview began. The whole set, the camera turned on, the light was soft, but stress in the environment. For the first time, Iron decided to talk on a major media platform. When she started to speak, she had a pain in her voice, but also a comfort. "I didn't intend to destroy anyone's life. I just wanted love. But when love turns into a lie, man himself becomes a lie. Sasha asked, "What do you think about Martell today?" Arionne smiled, but the smile was tired. Martell is not just what the world sees. He is also the one who hides himself. The next day, it started circulating everywhere. Martell hides himself, and thus the media once again flared up. Mehdi saw this clip. She knew that the game was not going to end. He told his team, "If the truth is, we cannot control it, but we can turn it." He announced his new project, a documentary series, Unfiltered: My Truth. It was his story, but in his own words. Martell, on the other hand, also launched a channel on YouTube, Real Talk with Martell Holt. He announced, "Now my story, from my mouth. No modification, no fear. These two videos, two truths, come down against each other. People were divided, some with Melody, some with Martell. And in the middle, Arionne, who could no longer be able to get out of the game. At night, when Sasha closed his laptop, he got an email. Subject: the real secret there was only one line in the message. It's not just the story of Melody and Martell. You yourself are involved. Sasha Jones read that email 3 times, but every time she had a trembling in her hands. It's not just the story of Melody and Martell. You yourself are involved. The phrase echoed in his mind. He immediately searched for his laptop, trying to trace the sender's address, but nothing was found. Then suddenly his phone screen was brightened. A video file. A scene inside it, which was made conscious. In the video, she was herself. Sasha was talking to someone in a recording room and was sitting in front of Martell. There were the same phrases in the voice that he asked yesterday. Do you trust Martell? Do you know how dangerous the truth is? But the video was a bit different. Sasha. Martell was convinced that she would support her in degrading Mehdi. When did it record? How? He didn't remember anything. The heartbeat intensified. It was a systematic game. Someone was controlling everyone: Arionne, Martell, Melody, even Sasha. And the purpose of this game was just one: reputation, rating, and control. The truth is always sold in the media world, just the price changes. A secret producer inside the OWN network named Greg Harper had the original contact between them all. He leaked the videos, twisting stories and turning every lie into a rating. Now the same person was using the 3 lives of the 3 as a face. Melody also started to doubt. He asked Karen, an old member of her team, to check last year's production contracts. Karen pulled out all the files overnight, and one thing came out. The same Greg Harper was also working as a consultant for Martell's YouTube channel. That is, both Melody and Martell were controlling both the same person, just by different names. When Medicon learned of this, he immediately contacted Arionne. We have to talk. It is no longer between me and you. Arionne thought for a moment, then replied, if you have come to speak the truth, come. But if you have come to play again, the door will be closed. The next morning, there was a strange scene in Arionne's house. The cameras do not shine. The media is not a crowd, only 2 women who stood in front of each other after years of wounds. It was quiet for a while. Then Mehdi gently said, I didn't come to apologize to you. I just want us to face the truth once. Arionne's eyes had moisture. True? Or the truth that looks good on TV? Melody placed a file on the table. These are Greg's emails. He sent messages between the 2 of us. Fake screenshots of my words and send me your videos. He wanted to fight so that the show could be alive. Arionne opened the file. A new lie on each page, a new fraud. His hands began to tremble. That is, we both used. Mehdi shook his head in affirmation. Yes, and now it's time for us to finish this game. They both decided that they would bring the truth, but in their own way. The first episode of Mehdi's new show, Unfiltered, was being developed, and Arionne decided to join it. The day came, the studio was ready. The light was dim, cameras were fixed, but there was a strange tension in the atmosphere. When the recording began, Melody said, This is not my story, our story. We are not enemies. We are both victims. And hunting sometimes becomes a hunter, Arionne said gently. The truth began to come out. Greg Harper's name came out. emails, videos, all leaked. The OWN network immediately announced an investigation. The storm broke out in the media. For the first time, people have seen that stories are written in the world of reality, just rolls live. When Martell saw all this, he came in. He thought he was showing the truth with his lives, his statements, but in fact he was also part of a script. One night he was drunk, sitting on the floor of his studio staring at the wall. His voice was dim. I sold myself. For fame, for revenge, for a few moments, for applause. When the interview of Arionne and Melody was broadcast, the world for the first time saw them smiling together. Neither sarcasm nor hatred, just a bitter but quiet truth. We learned that a woman can be broken but cannot be erased. The phrase went viral. OWN network dismisses Greg, but there was a row of those who took it because the media is never empty. In this world is true time, but the story is always alive. A few months later, Arionne founded a foundation. Voice Unmuted. The purpose was to give the platform to women who became notorious in the media. But they could never tell their own story. Milaretti rebranded his company and for the first time made his former enemy his partner. Martell took quietly. Sometimes he was seen alone in a cafe, notebook, writing something. People say he is writing his story, probably without truth, but with remorse. And Sasha Jones. He did not publish his article. He just wrote a line. I saw the truth and know that some stories do not end, just change. Sometimes we all become part of a story, whether we realize or not. That the truth is not always beautiful, but it is necessary. If you ever lost yourself in your story, so remember, it is easy to flee the truth, but facing it is the real power. If you like this story, so like it, share, and subscribe so you can know when will the next truth come to fruition.